Okay, guys, this might be some pretty big news. If this is actually going to legit happen or not. But there is talk that, now, again, I don't want to, get into too much political stuff, but I figured I kind of want to point this out, just because this is kind of pretty big here, but there's talk that the Gulf of Mexico might actually be turned into the Gulf of America. Yep, there's talk that might actually happen. And I'm going to be talking about that in this video. I also want to talk about, the whole military base and all, transgender stuff and all that, and what to maybe expect and all that for the next, 4 years or so. Maybe the future. So, yeah, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I don't normally talk about political stuff much on this channel, but I kind of want to talk about this specific thing. And I figured I'll talk about the other thing too, because I'm already talking about this. I wasn't even gonna bother, but here we are. If you guys don't like me listening to me talk about this stuff, you guys can click off the video. You guys can watch reviews or something. I'm getting back into the reviews again, now that my arm's getting better, but I'm still kind of got, issues with that. But, without any further ado, let's go ahead and actually talk about this. So, the Gulf of Mexico is, an interesting historical thing. And I want to explain why here. So the Gulf of Mexico has been known as the Gulf of Mexico for hundreds of years. I'm not kidding, hundreds of years. It's been known. I was looking at it. It's been like that since the 1600s, and all that. So before that, it was called something else. So there's a lot of historical stuff with it. And then you got the whole meteor that killed the dinosaurs. Yeah, they found the meteor that did that over by the Gulf of Mexico. Or supposedly that killed the dinosaurs. I still don't know how a meteor could have wiped out the entire dinosaur species, but not the plant life and all that, They do say that, they do point out, at school and all that, how, that plants can produce better and all that, but still, I'm like, if it killed all the dinosaurs and all that, it didn't kill all the animals. There were still alligators and crocodiles around that time that lived on, so, I don't know what to think about that, but, we don't really know much about this, we can only go off of historical stuff there, but that's a pretty interesting thing to point out, because that's literally where they found the meteor and all that killed the dinosaurs. They do have this whole thing where, that's the last fossils they found of the dinosaurs, but that doesn't mean, that, something else, they, kill them out, or maybe they evolved into something else, I don't know, but my point is that the Gulf of Mexico has, it has a historical thing, and a lot of Americans, know it as the Gulf of Mexico. However, in recent times, we got Trump back in the office, and it sounds like they might actually change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And that's kind of where I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that. I'm like, I'm not really sure exactly, I was trying to look into it. I don't really like looking into the crap, too much, because I feel like both sides are kind of freaking toxic. If you go in the comments on YouTube, I saw, when someone was posting it, something about this, I think it was a news article, or a news-related video, so it wasn't, a random person just talking about it. There are people on YouTube that cover that stuff, but I heard, somebody in the comments was calling somebody out, saying, they're transphobic people, or something like that, because they're upset about this change. I'm just like, again, that's kind of the whole point of, what I'm talking about. I'm like, on the Democrat side, they call people names, they call them Trumpies and all that. On the Republican sides, they call people names like, like transies and all that, and I'm just like, fucking knock it off. Like, I'm serious, just like, who cares? Like, people can have the right in their own opinion. And I'm someone who voted for Trump, and I don't know, I feel like in this case, this is kind of stupid, I'm not gonna lie. Now, what I've heard is, it sounds like they're gonna change the name of it because they're trying to get the oil cheaper, figured if under the American name and all that, they can get it cheaper, but I'm like, can't you get oil and water from somewhere else, I don't really know how that exactly works, but I just think it's kind of weird, like he wants to change that. I haven't really heard a lot of fuss. I mean, I've heard, like, people in America and well, I don't know about Mexico, but I've heard people in America are definitely fussing about this and all that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, it's not like, countries don't change over time. I mean, again, the Gulf of Mexico was a different name before. It's more so, like, it just makes it feel like, you're targeting Mexicans and all that, I mean, I'm not saying that's what Trump is doing, but I'm like, I don't know, it just seems kind of weird, and this is the guy that bashes China and all that all the time, too. I mean, he does that crap all the damn time. Like, he will not shut up about China. It's just like, I'm like, just freaking shut up about it, I'm like, who cares? I mean, I'm not saying they don't have problems over there. I mean, they're run by a whole freaking government that's very controlling. Worse than here. I mean, in America, it's not the greatest, but in, like, China, they're, like, forced to watch certain crap and all that, and their government won't let them watch what they want and all that. It's frustrating, People are actually leaving these countries. I mean, actually, even North Korea, I've been hearing stories about their empire kind of coming to an end, it sounds like. South Korea and North Korea sound like they're basically coming to the end. And, that's kind of the thing. That's kind of how history works, if you think about it. Eventually, the empire will fall, because what's going to happen is you're going to have enough people turning against you, and even if you threaten to hurt them or kill them, they'll willingly fight back just to get what they want, even if they risk their own lives. And that's what's happening with freaking North Korea. There are people that are, like, dying. A lot of people are dying over there. Their population is disappearing and all that, and that's kind of the problem, And, I mean, with China and all, China's not as bad with that, but they're still not great either. But they're definitely not as strict in as bad as the, North Korea and all that. I've heard lots of more worse stories there. But I'm just saying, I'm just like, it's definitely more limited. But in America, it's not the greatest either. It's not the greatest. But yeah, I don't know. I just like... Again, I don't know. I'm just like, again, calling the Gulf of Mexico a Gulf of America. I'm just like, it doesn't feel very right. It feels kind of weird, but I mean, if it's, if it, makes things cheaper, then I guess that's okay. But, I mean, at the same time, I'm like, why can't you just keep it, I don't know, like, why can't you just get the crap somewhere else, Like, why do you need to, like, go through the Gulf of Mexico? What I've heard is, technically, it's called the Gulf of Mexico, but it's just a land of water, so it's not like anybody owns it, Like, I mean, I guess Mexico kind of owns it, but the problem is, though, here's the problem with, Mexico. The problem is, though, is that they take away the land, and then, they got more problems where their land is shrinking, and, that's gonna cause some drama, because, they're gonna have to have passports to get over the border and all that, and I'm just like, I think it's just gonna create more drama. I don't know if this will create a lot of drama, but I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like down the road it's gonna create some sort of drama. Like, it's not really this; it's just in general. I'm just like, because the U.S. is like, like, I'm in the U.S. and I know a lot of people have problems with people across the board and all that, like, coming in here illegally and all that. I mean, I get it. I mean, like, if we go to their country, we have to have a passport and all that, but I'm just like, at the same time, I'm like, again, I feel like people kind of get a little salty with people in general. I don't know. It's pretty pretty big mess. But yeah, I don't know. But I don't know what to think about this whole Gulf of Mexico thing, you know. But I will say, if it's called Gulf of America, it won't be the end of the world. But I'm just like, at the same time, I feel like it is kind of an insult to Mexico. But I guess as long as Mexico is all right with it, then I guess it's not a big deal. But I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, again, it's a thing throughout history, you know. They've done this forever, but I don't know. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the other thing is the whole like transgender and all and gender fluid and all that stuff, and I have a feeling that this is gonna end up causing some drama, but you know, they're starting to like, well, Trump passed the law where, you know, transgender people can't be in the military and all that, which I don't know. I'm like, that I can kind of maybe understand, because, you know, transgender people still have different strength and all that, you know. You know, so their strength's a little bit different. But on the other hand, I feel like this is only the start. I have a feeling there's going to be more drama with this crap and all that. And I get it's getting out of hand. And as someone who's gender fluid like myself, I totally agree. The crap is getting way out of hand. You got people freaking on the internet like trashing on people who don't accept them. And I get it. You know, you don't want to be like. I get people get mad about this stuff, but I'm like, you can't really force people to like, I mean, it's not saying it's right, but you can't really force people to accept you and all that, you know? It's just kind of how it is. I mean, it's like me, you know? There's going to be people out there that don't accept me, you know? But I don't really care, you know? Like, I have autism, and I'm sure there's people out there that don't accept that either. My problem is when they threaten you, or they try to, like, you know, harm you or something because of your, you know, what you have, you know, and I just hate that. I hate that a lot. I do. I'm sorry. I just don't like that, you know. I don't like that stuff. But there's some times though where people aren't doing anything wrong, and then they're pushing this shit and all that, and I don't like that at all. There's also this whole thing on the internet where people are talking about how it's brainwashing children and all that. Like, you shouldn't be feeding this crap to children. And I mean, you shouldn't be teaching this crap to children. But there's a difference between, you know, than having this crap in, you know, movies and shows and content than actually having it in the than having it, you know, like be taught to kids. You know, there's a difference. That's the thing, there's a difference with that, and, you know, that's the problem. People are like kids shouldn't be exposed to this crap at all, and I'm like, they're gonna be exposed to it at some point in time, you know, eventually they're gonna be, I mean, when I was little, I was exposed to my gay uncles, and I had to ask questions on, like, what gay is, and, I'm perfectly fine now. It didn't ruin my life, you know, and all that. I just don't get it, you know. I'm just like, it's probably one of those things that's probably going to be salty for a long time. I'm sure it'll probably eventually die down. I mean, this isn't the first time this shit has happened throughout history. I mean, we've had the whole like black people, and then, you know, before that we had like Jewish people and all that, like, you know, with Egypt and all that, and I guess with Hitler too, but it was different around Egypt times, because they were like slaved and all that to like, I think that's what happened. They were slaved to like to build like the pyramids and all that, and I'm just like, I don't know. The thing is that they change this shit all the time with history and all that, so you can't even keep up with it. But I do know some of this crap is true though. I mean, I definitely know black, you know, slavery and all that was definitely a thing. And also we had a phase where people didn't accept people who wore glasses and all that, you know. So, I mean, this shit's been going on forever, and people just gotta learn. I mean, who knows, like in 100 years or so, people are not gonna accept robots, and then they're gonna have to adapt to it. It seems to be kind of how humans work, you know. I mean, I relate, you know, I have a hard time adjusting to changes, but I'm just like, again, this whole thing is just freaking stupid, and I'm just like, I mean, I'm still don't mind Trump being in office. I'd rather have somebody completely different. I'm not saying I'd rather have him than, I should say, Kamala Harris, because again, she was thrown in there out of nowhere, and she had like, and well, not only she was thrown in out of nowhere, but they were also hiding Biden's, issues. Like, he was having a lot of issues, and they were only trashing on, Trump. I've noticed with the Republican side. I'm on neither. I don't give a shit about politics, but I will say, yeah, I think with Republicans, I've been noticing it's definitely not being censored as bad. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's definitely worse on the Democrat side. But I do have a feeling they're gonna probably get pretty salty with the whole transgender and gender fluid and LGBTQ stuff and all that. But again, I'm like, it'll probably pass down the road, and I actually didn't bring up that even autism people like me back in the day were treated different too. They actually killed us. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They literally, because they didn't know what to do with autism people, they felt like they were worthless. They would literally have their children have their parents put their children down because the parents didn't know what to do with autism people, and it's just kind of, it's upsetting, but I'm like, again, like, I feel like people dwelling on the past, too, is not helping, like, the whole racist thing and all that, too. I'm just like, I'm just like, people just need to kind of learn to, like, just move on, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Like, I feel like, yeah, it sucks what's happening right now, but I have a feeling, things will probably, end up changing and all that, down the road, but, sorry, I got like allergies or something. I think it's allergies. I hope it's allergies, not a cold or something, but we had the whole weather thing and all that. Like, it changed. Like, it was literally like freaking like 70 something degrees yesterday, and then today it's like freaking in the 40s. It's freaking cold out. And actually, it felt warmer yesterday because it was in the 70s, but there's like a moist and heat. I think because of all the snow drying up and all that, so it caused a heat thing, and then now like it was in the 40s today, but it was like there was a cold breeze that hit, so it felt colder. So it literally like felt like the opposite of like yesterday. I'm not even kidding. Like, sometimes the weather will, like, there's like no wind or something, it'll just be cold. But then, like, you have the wind and all that, or you have the heat, which adds to the temperature. It makes it worse, Now, that's the thing, though. Sometimes, like, it'll depend on it, but if it's not blowing out wind, it's usually not too bad in the 40s, but I don't know. I'm just kind of just like, I don't know, I'm kind of just waiting for all this stuff to kind of get better so I can actually do some crap outside. I got some stuff done yesterday, but not a lot, But I think I'm about ready to actually let things go from here, though. Or actually, before I do that, I do want to show you guys the whole, just in case they do change it. Let me actually, see, the name's not actually there, though. There it is. See, it's there now. See, it still says Gulf of Mexico. There's Gulf of California there, too. San Francisco, California. I think that's the state there, right? Let me see if I can actually get a little zoomed in out photo. I don't actually know how far this will go. It doesn't seem to go much farther. You can see what the map looks like down there, but look at that. You got Mexico down there, and you got, look at that, got the Gulf of Mexico. I think that's about as far as you can actually go down there. Yep. Yeah, you got the Gulf. So it still says the Gulf of Mexico, but it sounds like they're gonna change the name. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still all right with it. I just think it's gonna sound like it's gonna feel like an insult. I feel like, to the Mexicans. Even though it may not be. Like I said, I think they're doing it to, like, save money on stuff. But because if it's called America, you don't have to share the land and all that. But at the same time, I feel like that's going to create drama a lot with Mexico. So that might be a mess. But yeah, that's pretty much it, though. I want to show off. Also, showing off where I'm at. I mean, I'm alright with that. Look, I can actually zoom in here, too. See that? You can zoom in. I actually want to do a review on that down the road, but I'll have to wait here to do that. That's pretty much it, though. So, I mean, it hasn't passed yet, but it sounds like it might end up passing. So, I mean, even if it changes, you guys could probably always get older maps and like still have the Gulf of Mexico if you don't like the change, you know, and all that. I mean, you can still have the older maps. I've been thinking in the future about getting myself some older maps, you know. That'd be kind of cool, you know, get some older maps so you can see what kind of stuff looked like back in the day. Like Alaska and all that, you know. But I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here because my throat's killing me. But we'll see what happens here and all that too. And again, I'm not going to get very political on this channel, but I figured I'd point that out because that's a pretty big change. I mean, I did that kind of with the last president too, I think. I can't remember. I think I did do that. So, I mean, I will do that sometimes, but I don't want to get too political on this channel because I just don't care about politics. But, anywho, see you guys later. Bye-bye.